Beautiful people, it is time we talk about Ada Wong and her final review, where she is on the tier list, a little bit of my personal rant on this character, right, and her downsides, and of course, if it's worth pulling for her or not. As usual, hello, Nerds, welcome back to the Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Today's topic with the Kato Cam and the awful microphone we have right now, we have the final verdict, the honest review on Ada Wong. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with her. Leave a like, subscribe, and make it the channel, and let's jump directly into the tier list update, and then we'll go over how to properly build her and everything else. Now look at this video, huh? Looking pretty good. I switched all of the wikis, so they have a small video on the top. Just because it looks nice, it's completely useless otherwise. That's it. Tier list for Nikkei, we're going to go into B3s, and Ada Wong is going to be positioned as a T2 character, good unit. Multiple reasons as to why she is here. But a TLDR is that she's competing with characters like Anis, she's competing with characters like Eve, Ludmila, Elech, even Maiden. She's competing with all of these buffers that, for the most part, are elemental, unless we're talking, of course, about Ludmila, who is a universal one. And Ada is also a universal buffer, but has a few downsides. Now, when we talk about pure numbers in terms of buffing capabilities, for example, when we put her with Cinderella, she will make Cinderella do more damage than if you were running Sameranis. The thing is that Sameranis will be buffing the whole team or everyone that's electric rather than just one unit. And that's the biggest downside of Ada. She's a great buffer, she's a nice DPS, but she's just like good at what she does. She doesn't excel at it, and she has a lot of downsides. So let's jump into a little bit into this, starting of course on how to properly build her skills. When it comes to her skills, I'm gonna be 100% honest. On the website, we're recommending a 10-7-7, and the reason is simple. This is a character that you either go support, which is already expensive at 10-7-7, by the way. That's already pretty expensive, right? You go support 10-7-7, or you go DPS 10-10-10. There is no in between. In my opinion, if you want to make her a DPS, you want to be increasing the skill 2 and the burst skill, both of them, because it's going to be increasing her damage a lot. If you only care about her being a support and nothing else, then a skill 1 is the only thing you need to worry about. You could be going on like a 10-4-4 if you are like Omega broke on resources and only want to use it as a support. 10-4-4 will barely work, but again, I would recommend going at least 10-7-7. That's for her skills. If you guys don't remember how her kit works, I would recommend going watch our previous video. The most important thing you need to remember is this skill 1 that will be bursting the burst stage 3 character that has used their burst skill, giving them a 60% attack of caster's attack, 50% of true damage, and 10% life leech or HP recovery, whatever you want to call this. Outside of the skill requirement, she's a pretty simple character to build. When we're talking about cube, guys, just like any character in this game, you slap resilience, you are good to go. She is a slow girl. 2-second reload time, 1-second charge time, help her out, shoot more by putting resilience. You could be going Bastion if you have enough max ammunition capacity, but even then, resilience is going to be better overall and increase her damage output. When it comes to gear, this is a little bit of a problem because you might be thinking, oh, okay, she has 60% of caster's attack, so she does not need attack on the gear, but this is only every other rotation if she is bursting at all. She can also be used as an off-burst character. So you want to be focusing on elemental and max ammo, and then you're going to be focusing on attack. After elemental ammo and attack, if you get lucky, I will focus rather than charge damage and charge speed on getting crit lines so you can increase the damage of her burst. She is a mini Snow White, obviously not reaching those stupid damage numbers you see on Sword Red for Snow White, but still a pretty good character. So personally, I would prioritize going crit over charge speed or charge damage because crit will also be affecting your skill to the flash grenade. Outside of that, we can actually talk about the pros and cons that she has. Starting with the pros, you see buff on skill 1 that even though affects only one unit, it increases attack by 60% and true damage by 50%. There is not a lot of characters that can take advantage of this true damage yet, but the characters that can, like for example Ain, will be obviously doing more damage with her. A skill 1, by the way, can bypass buffing only one character if you have a unit like Rapid Red Hood. So Rapid Red Hood, considering she is a burst 3, even when she's acting as a burst 1, her attack is still B3, she will be getting these buffs always, even if she's not bursting as a burst 3, so that's pretty good. At the downside, and we'll talk about it on the cons, is that characters like Red Hood are not going to be getting these even as a B3. The other problem that she has is that even if attack moves are weaker than elemental and damage taken down, she's still competing with most buffers in the game, be it Ludmilla, be it Anis, be it anyone else, and making whatever unit you are buffing do really good damage while also being herself a great DPS. So that's why she is still a T2 character rather than a T3, even though she has a lot of problems with team compositions at the moment. And then lastly, of course, she can be used as an off burst on teams with triple burst 3 characters as a buffer for your main damage dealers. I don't think we'll see this that often. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Because it depends on your team composition and if you want to be running no healers at all or only heal your B3s with that 10% life leech. But again, that's mostly going to depend on your team composition rather than anything else. That said, we can also move a little bit into the cons and talk about what's wrong with Ada Wong. First thing, obviously, she only buffs one character unless Rapid Red Hood is the first one, making it more niche than other buffers that benefit the whole team, be it your Ludmilla, be it your Maiden, be it your Anis. Anyone that can buff multiple characters obviously will have higher preference for raids because still they can just be a slot into any team and work without having to worry too much, in contrast to Ada. The other thing is that a lot of newer DPSs don't benefit from attack as much. We're talking about a character that gives 60% of characters attack on an abnormal attacker character. But a lot of recent units are going to be getting huge self-attack buffs, making these wars, quote unquote, right? Rather than putting something like damage taken down, rather than something that's elemental damage that's always good, etc. So this means you are leaving this character for true damage teams, which right now, let's be 100% honest, don't really exist in this game. Then the next con, obviously, elemental buffs and damage taken down are still stronger universal buffs compared to attack. So you are making her compete with characters that clearly have a lot of usage on raids. I don't think this is something bad. I think this is just us getting more options for raids, which is always a good thing. So I don't think that's like that big of a deal. And then lastly, the worst thing in my opinion about this, not only Red Hood cannot get her burst, but some characters that have instant burst cannot get these burst stage 3 because they are too fast and it doesn't properly apply because of the timing. But characters like Scarlet will not be able to get these boosts from Ada Wong. So you're talking about the character that cannot be paired with Scarlet, cannot be paired with Red Hood, cannot be paired with Bestie, cannot be paired with a few units. It's not a lot, but it's always limiting a little bit more the team compositions you can actually be running with her. So even though it's like only a few units, I still have to include it as a con to make sure people understand that, you cannot be pairing her with any character out there and just plug and play. Sadly, she's not a plug and play character. Now, all that jumping aside, T2 character Sefhi is a decent unit, probably will be used even in the future just because of her buffs on skill 1, even as an off burst, even if she loses her own damage, she can still be used as a buffer. Would you recommend pulling for her? Only if you like Resident Evil. If you don't like Resident Evil, I'm gonna be 100% honest. She's not a bad character, but she's not a must get. She's one of those characters that will be used for raids, absolutely, for solo raids, not for union raid. But outside of there, it's gonna be really hard seeing or justifying using her. There is no abnormal tower, so the only places, once again, to reiterate myself, the only places where you are going to be seeing Ada Wong, it's solo raid. If you like solo raids and if you like Resident Evil, go for a copy. The MLB is useless for a character like this, even if she's getting more buffs thanks to the dupes, because this is based on caster's attack, so dupes will increase this, but again, it's just not worth for a 2% banner. We are getting too many units in Nika, boys. Don't be bossos and don't go pulling everywhere. So one copy is all you need if you care about raids. All that jumping aside is going to be for this video. As usual, beautiful bastards, we are live every single day. We should be live, by the way. When this video drops, we should be live. If you want to come by, say hello, have a great time. Links in the description down below. And as usual, good luck with your pool dinner. I'll see you on the next one.